Welcome to Crash Course US History. My name is Varun Jasti, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the American response to crisis. Over time, Americans have responded to crisis in many different ways, one of which was including evolving cultural values. After the Great Depression, Americans were reluctant to spend money. Therefore, consumerism at that time was at an all-time low. Workers back then would rather have bought food instead of a car that had little to no value. This idea, though, has changed in modern times. Nowadays, Americans have the mindset to buy and spend their leisure money on material goods, such as luxurious cars. Our society is so focused on consumerism these days that one would rather buy a luxurious BMW or Mercedes rather than an efficient smart car. The advent of suburban communities has widened the workscape and landscape in America. Back then, people would live so close to each other that they could walk from one place to another. Nowadays, though, people need cars, lots of cars. In fact, people go for luxurious cars to get from one place to another, such as home to the workplace, workplace to home, or home to a restaurant. How did Americans respond to crisis and change their cultural values exactly? Well, back then, they responded with creativity. Cars were influenced with new technologies, such as a radio, which became a premier asset in cars all around the world, and automatic transmission. Both of these are viewable in cars today. Speaking of today, in a crisis in 2008 to 2010, America responded with patriotism. This included buying cars that represented the American dream. These included the Chevy Silverado and the Ford F-Series. Both of these cars are trucks, which Americans view as part of the American dream. Americans not only change their technology and their patriotism, but adapt everything in their environment as well in times of a crisis. Back then, we added new things such as a radio and transmission, which is prevalent today. And in modern times, we added new cars, such as the Ford F-Series and the Silverado. Americans obviously responded with creativity and patriotism, but the most important thing to remember is that Americans are not stagnant, and that no matter what the crisis, we always change according to our environment, and we always adapt.